So I think you evolve, and my use for money and what I think about money has evolved. At first, I just wanted it. I wanted the fancy cars. I wanted this $30,000 watch. I don't give a shit about this watch. This is what I like to do. I take watches like this and I throw them. That's a $30,000 watch. It's not the first time I've thrown it, because I want to show you it's not about those possessions. It's the freedom. I have the freedom to get that watch and throw that watch. I'm not trying to disrespect it. I'm very grateful for everything. But I want people to realize what money is for, and it can be used for freedom and to make you happy.
Tim, thank you so much for joining Next Shark today and telling your story. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. I'm a big fan of your website.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Before we start, I'm looking at your Instagram. It's like popping over all these notifications.
So I just, this is what I do. I teach and I inspire. So I posted a little video of my Ferrari filling up with gas, and I tell people, guess how much it is. I'm going to send the person who guesses, no one's guessed it so far, but I'm going to send the person who guesses, a free DVD. And I have these DVDs where I teach people. So I'm kind of showing off with this Ferrari, kind of being a dick, but at the same time, it's for educational purposes. So I have a pass.
Your story begins when during bar mitzvah you were given $12,000 around that, and I think within a couple years, you turned into millions of dollars. So tell me about how you even got into stock trading in the first place. And I hear your parents expected you to lose all of it.
Yeah. So it was my bar mitzvah money was just sitting in cash for a few years. I mean, I was a tennis player. My parents basically gave me control of it senior year of high school when I got injured in tennis. And they're like, have fun, go play with it in the stock market. This was 1999, stock market going crazy. They thought that I would lose it all. They didn't tell me this. They were just like, yeah, research those stocks, you'll do well. And I was like, oh, awesome, I love this freedom. And, I didn't really grow the account at first that much. It was like with these big companies, the account wasn't growing. So I gravitated towards lower price penny stocks, which the whole world hates. But my 12,000 basically grew to over 100,000 by the end of my senior year of high school. And my parents were a little surprised. Then freshman year, I made roughly 700,000, and my parents were shocked, and they just wanted me to stay in school. And then, by the time I graduated college, I kept growing it. It was nearly 2 million.
Wow.
So
now, your parents, there was a reason why they told you to just play in the stock market. Were your parents trading in the stock market, or they're just reading on the news and they're like, hey, why don't you try it?
It was the hot topic of the day. They literally expected me to lose everything. They thought that it would be like a good, tough lesson, like learn the value of a dollar. And I screwed up all those plans by doing so well in a good way. It's nonstop studying from the first day. I ditched friends. Even during college, I took night classes so I could study and learn during the day. Today, even still, I'm studying. The education never stops. Now, gone back to 12,000 several times. When I first began teaching in 2007, I took 12,000 and turned it into 230,000 in 3 years, showing every trade. I was the #1 trader on Covestor, which tracks people based on their actual trades. They tap into your brokerage accounts. And now this year in 2016, I've gone back to 12,000 again. And as the overall stock markets are down roughly 10% in the first few weeks, I'm up about 20%. That's what I kind of do for my small accounts. And that's why I have several millionaire students, because they grow their small accounts. Having a small account is not a bad thing. It's actually an advantage over somebody who has a $100 million fund or a $1 billion fund, because they can't get out of the way of the market. You already have hedge funds that have lost 100 million or $1 billion in 2016 so far, because they have to be invested. If you have a small account, you can just be like, whoa, I don't want to trade today. I'm 100% cash.
How much is, would you say that you make more money teaching now, or is it still trading and everything?
No, it's teaching, because I'm trading with such small accounts. It's not even about the profits. If I make $100,000 this year in just trading, that's great, because I'm starting with just 12,000. So I want to be very clear. I'm proud of the fact that I make more from teaching. So where my priorities are. There's a lot of people that use their subscribers. They buy a stock and then they sell into their subscribers and they're like, look at my trading profits. For me, if my subscribers lose money, guess what? They cancel from me. That hurts my main business. So for me, it's always about trying to teach subscribers and trying to help them learn how to make money.
Right. And like everyone else, you'll have students that are successful, you'll have students that fail. What would you say is the #1 reason a student would fail?
There's so many. Remember, trading is tough. So most people just fail just because of not taking care of their money. Like they're not meticulous. I watch every dollar like a hawk. Like I make the analogy, if you're in Vegas and you put money down on like a blackjack hand, would you leave the money on the table and go to the bathroom? No. So why would you do that with a stock trade? There's so many people, they're like, oh, I just left it in there. I'm going to go take the kids to school. And they come back and they're like, ah! So holding and hoping is a big problem. For me, I want my finger on the trigger at the exit button whenever I see anything wrong with a stock. So oftentimes I get out way too soon. I'm right about buying a stock or shorting a stock, and I take like a 5 or 10% profit. And then an hour or 2 hours later, it could be a 30 or 40% profit. I don't mind because I want to play it safe. So safety first for me. Rule number 1 is cut losses quickly.
Right. Okay. Very cool. What is money to you? I mean, because obviously, it seems that you're starting from 12,000. The third time already.
Yeah.
It seems like there's some people that would dump a lot of money into the stock markets to get higher and higher returns. And you made $4 million. Like that's incredible. And yet there's some people out there that try to shoot for the tens of millions of dollars or hundred millions of dollars.
Billions.
I mean, or billions too. I mean, what do you think is like your purpose, and what have you seen how do you view money exactly? Is this something that you want to continue chasing?
Yeah.
Or,
I mean, you have to find what fulfills you in life. And at first, for me, it was like a video game. Like I wanted the highest score. Most people want that. They look at their bank accounts. They're trying to save up month over month. They're trying to get to millionaire status. It gets old after a while. I was very fortunate to achieve so much success at a young age and in the beginning. I definitely got a little spoiled. I had to learn the hard way. I also lost $500,000 investing in my best friend's dad's company. So that was along the way of the 4 million. It actually made me, much more cautious. Without that loss, I wouldn't have become, so conservative.
Now, when did you become a millionaire? Like what age did you say that you
Roughly
made your
21.
first?
I was on semester at sea on a cruise ship, making a trade when the ship lost power, and I still made 80,000. I was freaking out because I was in the trade and we're stupid, not trading on a cruise ship. But I made the 80 grand, and that put me over $1 million. So it's pretty sweet. It's in my book.
So now, when I did internet marketing, like around the same age, like at our high points, me and my friends, we were in college, we were making like over six figures in a month, just doing internet marketing stuff. I mean, and for me, I went through some dark times because at that young age, I mean, and you get that amount of money, it's like I feel like you're kind of playing with fire. You get cocky, you start buying things that you think you can afford when you can, and you're just not smart with your money. I mean, did that happen to you? Did you ever at that young of an age? I mean, did you get cocky, or did you have any of those sort of dark times? Were you always aware? I
mean, I was cocky, but I couldn't spend it. I was in an interesting field because if you spend your money that you make in the stock market, you can't bet as much anymore. So for me, when I made all that money, I mean, I had a $100,000 profit day freshman year in college. And I was sitting in my dorm room like just stunned. I grew up middle class. $100,000 is a lot of money. I took my whole dorm out to dinner. That was my splurge, but it was only like $800 because we were freshmen. We couldn't even afford alcohol. So I went back to trading with 12,000 because I see how much it can help my students, growing every single step. As I told you, my 12,000 is now roughly 15,000 in a month. That's shit money. $3,000 in a month. What am I, a part-time Starbucks barista? But at the same time, the lessons that go along with turning 12,000 into 15,000, there might be 20 video lessons that I've made, step by step, issues that I've had with a small account. So now it's not about making the most money, it's about making the most useful lessons for my students.
And I noticed you're so, I mean, even for high net worth people, I mean, you're so transparent. It seems like, you show your every other trade, and you also show your tax returns and everything. I mean, it's, is transparency incredibly important to you? Like, do you ever feel uncomfortable that so much of your personal, I guess, because finances are pretty personal. I mean, how much of your personal life is out there, especially tax returns?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to be personal if you take this seriously. There's so many frauds out there. There's so many fakes. I mean, Madoff is literally one of the biggest frauds. He was president of the NASDAQ. Okay, he's president of one of the biggest stock exchanges, and he's a total fraud. $11 billion. I mean, just think about that. So think about all these other small-time scammers. There's so many people who claim to teach. Where is your track record? Where are your millionaire students? You can cut through all the bullshit in this industry with 2 questions. Show me your track record. Show me your most successful students. If they say no, I've heard excuses for everything. Personal, ex-wives, IRS, they want their privacy. No. If you're going to teach about how to make money, you better be able to fucking back it up.
If you were to kind of show who your most successful student was, I mean, how much has your most successful student made, would you say?
So that's Tim Grattani, my second Millionaire student, $1,500 4 years ago now, and he's up to 2.7 million. And the beautiful thing is that it's not just about what he's done. He also has his own DVD now with nearly 4 dozen trades live that he shows. So he shows how to make it. And he also teaches my Trading Challenge students with weekly webinars. My first Millionaire student, Michael Good, who was my first hater, also does that too. So my Millionaire students aren't just making money for themselves, they're also giving back to the community. And that's what I love. You know, it's not just about the money that they made, it's they see what they've done, and neither of them have, not made mistakes. They both have big losses, 6-figure losses along the way. So they're trying to give back. And teaching, it's not just, selfless, like it's very good for you, to talk about this stuff. Like every single day I create a watch list, I give commentary for myself too. I wouldn't do that. If I wasn't teaching, I would probably get drunk a lot more, and not wake up for the market open. I'd be like, I'm rich, I don't care. So teaching keeps me in line, and I'm very thankful for that. So my latest DVD, How to Make Millions, 35 hours long. It wasn't supposed to be that long. I was just like, oh, it'll be 15 hours.
You're a passionate guy.
Well, I wanted to put everything I've learned into that, and it's all for basics, it's all for beginners, and it all goes to charity. Now we've raised over $1 million in about a year since we've released it. All goes out. I have my own charity foundation, the Timothy Sykes Foundation now. So I'm getting more into charity, and that's something new too. I never did charity. I mean, I did a little. I would donate $2,000 here or $5,000. I used to grant wishes, make a wish back in college. But now I'm taking it to a new level. I just donated $20,000 the other day to this kid. He couldn't talk. He had no movement. So there's a new technology that looks at his eye movements, and he can communicate with his family for the first time.
That's
right. So I donated $20,000 to that, and that was awesome. That's what money should be used for. So I'm getting into that. I'm a little late to the game.